Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be answering the question, how do I become more productive? In a nutshell, we are going to be taking a look at an extremely helpful habit done once per week for about 30 minutes that is going to help you be more effective, stop the overwhelm, and help you get results done in a sustainable way. So let's jump in. What makes my take unique is that I'm a nerd obsessed with unlocking potential in others. And I recognize that potential is not only unlocked in a one-time manner, but potential is unlocked in a long-term sustainable way. So I have spent years trying to help others unlock their potential and doing it in such a way that is simple to understand, scalable for the season, and sustainable so that you can do it long-term. Part 1, the weekly habit. And it's to be done once a week at the beginning of your week for about 30 minutes or less. The habit itself has 4 different sections. You're going to connect with your life's mission and your goals. You're going to review last week. You're going to reflect on how last week went. And then you're going to make adjustments and plan your upcoming week based on the things we just did. In a nutshell, this habit allows you to get away from the day-to-day grind and hiking of your life and to pull back and survey the entire land. Part 2, why does this help? Sometimes we get caught up in the day-to-day grind and we're not able to actually see the entire forest through the trees. This habit breaks that because it's basically forcing you to pull back from firefighting mode, and it allows you to kind of get in a helicopter and survey the entire landscape and the situation. By doing so, you're able to strategically think about what it is that's going on and then make decisions to either let some fires burn while strategically creating some space for other fires so that eventually you can contain everything and move towards the goal. Part number 3. So how do we do it? Step 1 is to carve out about 30 minutes at the beginning of your week. Once you're sitting down during that time frame, connect with your life mission and your current set of goals. If you don't have a life mission at this point, that's totally okay. That might be something for you to consider adding on later. But if you do have a life mission written out, then this is a time where it's going to allow you to get out of the day-to-day grind and pull back and see the entire picture of where you are overall trying to go. Again, during this piece, it's kind of like getting all the way in a helicopter and going really high up so that you can see this massively big picture landscape. This connection part should only take you a few minutes, but feel free to linger on certain parts and think about why those goals and that mission is important to you. The next step is to review. And this is kind of like taking the helicopter from all the way up here and then just start lowering it down. So you can kind of see a little bit of a specific section of the landscape, which was last week. You're going to take a look at last week's calendar. You're going to look at last week's task list. The third thing you're going to take a look at is last week's projects. This ought to take you anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes as you take a look at things. The next step is to reflect. The first thing you want to do is to identify what went well. In this, you might want to list some professional things and some personal things. Examples can include spent quality time with family, had an engaging team meeting, made time to go to the gym 3 times, and whatever else you define as going well. Then you're going to jump into what did not go well. As you're looking back at your calendar, you're going to remember the moments of tension, deep frustration, overwhelm. Noting these things is going to be helpful because they're going to allow you to recognize all the things that did not go well and did not move the needle forward. The next part is to identify the changes that you're going to want to make. What do you want to keep doing? What are the things that went well last week that you need to keep doing? What do you want to start doing? What are the things that when you look back at last week, either based on the things that didn't go well or just new ideas, what are the things that are going to help move your mission and your goals forward this week? What do you want to stop doing? This is simply what are the things that you need to stop doing either by saying no to or eliminating altogether that are going to stop the distraction from your goals. What do you want to adjust doing? What small tweaks can you make that are going to improve things just a little bit? For example, setting my alarm 5 minutes earlier or setting my alarm 10 minutes later so I can get a few extra minutes of sleep. What are the little minor things that are going to impact your energy and your focus and your team and your family throughout the day. This reflection piece is going to be critical for you because that is going to be allowing you to act like a scientist in your life and to find out what is working and what isn't working and make the iterative adjustments that you need to make. The last step of this weekly habit is to plan. And you're going to do 3 primary things during this time. You're going to adjust your calendar, adjust your tasks, and adjust your projects. See, because at this point in the habit, you have connected with the big picture, you have assessed last week, you have reflected on what needs to be adjusted, what went well, what didn't go well, what needs to be adjusted, and now you're taking everything and moving it forward. So the 3 primary things you want to do when you are planning your calendar, tasks, and projects for the week is to import the things from last week that need to get done. Make sure to eliminate a number of the things that need to not be in your calendar anymore, or task list, or project list. And lastly, delegate to others or to yourself in the future the things that should not be on your plate. Once you make these adjustments in whatever system that you currently have, you need to communicate the updates to the right people, such as your team or your family or specific people that have now been impacted by your adjustments. Part 5 of this video is a few different tips that I have learned over the years. Tip number 1, make this habit yours. I have given you a skeletal structure that has stood with me over the years. However, over the years, I have made different adjustments. For example, at one time, I wasn't reading my mission, but I had spent time recording my mission during my weekly habit. In another season, I made sure to go on a walk while I listened to my mission and read my goals. The key is for you to make it yours. Tip number 2, do this during a time where you will not be needed the most by your family and your team. Tip number 3 is to turn off your phone and notifications during this time. It is critical that you stay focused on what you are doing and making that a priority. It is really difficult to be in the helicopter and seeing this big picture landscape and then pulling yourself back down into the weeds and then jumping back up. Not only is it going to elongate this 30-minute habit, but it's also going to distract your focus and your ability to make this habit highly effective. The final tip is to make this a habit. You are not going to see immediate benefits of this the very first time you do this. However, after a few weeks to a few months of doing this, you're going to have greater clarity, greater focus, and a greater ability to quickly make adjustments based on the things that aren't working. Repetition breeds confidence. And when you have habituated this habit, it will breed your confidence to regularly connect with your mission, review last week, reflect, and plan the upcoming week. Effective leaders, people who want to be more productive, people who want to get results, they don't just firefight. They pull back and look at how to contain these current fires, prevent future fires, and then move their entire life and team and family towards the mission and goals that they are trying to get towards. If this added value to your life, hit the like button. If you want to see more type of this content, hit the subscribe button. Most importantly, go get the free resource linked below and go schedule your next weekly habit right now. After you've done that, let me know in the comments below when your next weekly habit is. See you guys next time.